Are you ready to join me in transforming fear to freedom? That's the objective of the show. Are you ready to explore with me and my guests? Are you ready to get into the deep and play? This is where it's at, and that's what it's all about. No medical advice here. Use discernment and decide for yourself if the information is right for you. All views and opinions expressed on this show belong to the individual and are not necessarily shared with the producer of the show. Want more details? Go to letsgetrealchattingwithcatherine.com. Now let's get real and have some fun. Who are we going to explore with today? Come on with me and let's get into the deep. All right, and we're back with part 3 with Shelly Dressel from goddesslight.net. And we're going to cover crystals and the crystals on the planet and what they mean. And we're going to talk about goddess light, of course, and the pineal gland and what all this has to do with 2013. So let's get at her. Thanks. Is there a significance, or is it just erosion?
All right, so first of all, now we are the regular group of energies around Shelly, and so we will be glad to speak with you about what you are speaking of. The reason that these crystals are coming to light right now is because of the change in the vibration of the earth. They've always been there. It's just you couldn't see them because the vibration did not support them coming to light. If you try to bring something out before it's time, or before you have the surrounding vibration that supports it, then it breaks. It becomes too fragile. You are unable to use it. Mm-hmm. If you go down into the very core center of the earth, there are even more immense crystals than these beautiful crystal caves that are coming out. The people that go down to that, people think of it as like a radiation, or that it puts out a vibration that they have to have a physical body, and they can only have they have to have a physical body that is able to be in alignment with that, and they can only tolerate it for very short periods of time because it is unbelievably intense. So there may be crystals that come out that are very small. There may be big ones. There may be caves like what you speak of. And the reason that we wanted to bring this up is because crystals have always been used by humanity as a means of sometimes anchoring or changing or creating a change in their reality. So as more and more crystals begin to come up to light, and as more and more people become aware of it, then we just want people to be on the lookout. Meaning, pay attention to what's around you. Pay attention if something comes to your light. You don't have to necessarily go in and know all the qualities of a particular crystal, but just know that I feel drawn to this. I want to keep it around me. And those crystals can be doing amazing things for your physical reality. They can create a healing for you. They can create a balancing for you. They can create a greater clarity. They can be transmitters. They can be amplifiers. So we just want everyone to be aware that more and more of that is going to come up to people's awareness. So if you're aware of it, then you can pay attention.
Can I ask you, the first time I saw one of these caves, I must say that what came to me immediately was this is a natural power source.
It is.
This is where instead of, and it's not something that we have to, or that we would even need to really mine. It doesn't mean doing harm to the earth to access it, but that if we could tap into that, there would probably be more power to, heat our houses and cool our houses and do all the things that we're doing now with oil or coal. And it would be clean, and it would be, it seems to me, with Nikola Tesla's understanding about free energy and some of the other very highly evolved people that have already been here, that I'm wondering if this is what the introduction of the crystal was, or is one of the things.
Yeah, the crystalline energy is a very, very powerful energy, and it is going to be the foundation of all the change that's taking place in the world. It's the foundation of the change in people's biology within their bodies. It's going to be a foundation to the source of the energy as an energy source. It's going to it will just be unbelievable the way that when you look back even 5 years from now and you consider the crystalline energy, it's going to make a difference. You know, another thing, like what the goddess always speaks of in every one of the teleconferences, is about going through the crystalline grid work. And the crystalline grid work is a vibration or an energy pattern that is outside of the magnetic pole of the earth, but it's a part of the universe. And as that universal energy comes in closer and closer to the earth, then it's reflecting and working off of the crystals that are already in the earth. So there is a direct relationship between the two. And the more that each person brings their light body or their crystalline body within their consciousness and allows it to be a part of their reality, then the more that that's going to create their link not only to the earth but to the universe, and it's going to keep strengthening that crystalline vibration.
Well, is it, I've heard it said that I think it's the pineal gland that is actually a crystal. It's meant to be liquid crystal. It is liquid crystal when we're first born, and then it becomes hardened because we don't use it, I guess. Is that where or am I wrong?
Well, no, the pineal gland is actually being used by everybody day in and day out. It's a constant, it's always there. It is always being used. And the more that people expand their, whether you call it your psychic abilities, your higher vibrational abilities, whatever word you want to use for that, it does work through your pineal gland. And so it's a very powerful gland within the body. It always has been, and it's just becoming strengthened. In the back of your head, in the base of your head, back here, that's where the link to the light body energy is, and that's where the link to the crystalline energy is. But then it goes from there through the pineal to your third eye. It's like a direct plane of energy that moves through the physical head. And there are many non-physical energy bodies within you and around you, but those are some very prominent and primary ones that are going to become more focused upon.
So if we have crystals, like I have some crystals here that I just resonated with. We have crystals in our homes, and you have some crystals, some very magical crystals too. Other than having them in your home, are you recommending that we learn to use them more, or how does that?
So you can learn to work with them. You can learn to use them in a lot of different ways in your life, but just be aware that as you are going on your own personal expansion, and as you are, doing whatever it is that you're doing in your personal life, that these crystalline energies are a foundation of that they're a part of that. And that, and again, since the year 2000, that's what created that shift. And in particular, since 2000 and about 5 or 6, that's when the more crystalline liquid form of vibration has been coming in more prominently. And so, again, it's a reflection of what was already in the earth and what was coming up from the earth, and it's bringing it in from the universe. And so the question is this something that was new, or is this something that was always there? It was always there. It's just that it's now becoming activated, and it's now becoming more easy to use it because of the higher vibrations available to people.
So if in 2013, do you think more people are going to access or begin to use the crystal energy more, and that will help propel us into a higher vibration?
Yes, that's exactly what will be taking place. And so that's why we mentioned the physical crystals that people may have as a means of giving you something. Oh, I've got this crystal in my house and I just keep holding it. I don't know what that is. So that's the reason that people don't always have to know all the details. You don't always have to know exactly why that's happening or exactly what's happening with that. Instead, just have that innate understanding that that the new vibration is a crystalline energy, as opposed to a more solid energy. It's more fluid, it's lighter, and that's why it can work in a different manner.
So it kind of sounds to me like it's here now because we raised our vibration. We are becoming more fluid, more flexible, more in love, more in light, like, or, chicken and the egg, which came first. But it feels like if it's always been here and we weren't aware of it, we have changed. I mean, that to me is confirmation. We have changed.
Absolutely. That's exactly what that is.
Wow. Okay.
And wanting to have that, kind of that black and white confirmation is the fact that those crystal caves have always been there, but nobody found them. So and they're being found now, so that's like you already said. And so everybody has that crystalline vibration in and around their body, but they've just never consciously worked with it. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like it was a memory or a thought or a potential that was around them, and that's now coming in much more strongly and becoming much more the focus instead of something in the background.
Right. Okay, so 2013 is just, it's kind of we're calling it the divine year of the divine feminine, or I guess because of numerology, 2013. But do you see more significant changes as we raise our consciousness, we connect more with the crystals, we are...
So we think that that 2013, to put it in a different manner, is going to be more about balance. When you're balanced in your feminine and masculine energies, you are going to be in a state where things happen around you in a balanced response. People that have a lot of trauma and drama in their life, they're imbalanced. They're focused in a particular way. And so the earth itself has been a much more masculine-based energy for probably 4,000 or 5,000 years. And so bringing in the more feminine energy, especially again since the year 2000, is it's been happening since the Christ energy, but it's also been more amplified since the year 2000. And so as more and more of the focus comes upon things that are feminine, loving, nurturing, gentleness, then it's bringing a more balanced energy into these masculine energies that have been around for so long. And so the focus with the Goddess of Creation and ours has always been more about balance. For those that need a little more masculine, then that balances them. For those that need a little more feminine, then that balances them. But when you look on a global perspective, it's bringing in more of that feminine energy that's balancing with the masculine. But right. Ultimately, it's a more balanced state.
Right. And the thing is, that's the thing that sort of has been on my mind, is that we've talked about the divine feminine for a long time and how more people need to connect with their feminine, but we haven't talked a lot about the divine masculine. We've had a lot of what I'm going to call lower masculine energy, the waging war, the controlling, manipulating kind of thing. Do you see that energy is going to be, as we bring in the more of the feminine, the more of the supportive kind of masculine energy, the kind that supports the feminine, is going to come to in relationships, in our global way of doing things? Is that what you're talking about, that we're going to notice that a lot more in 2013, or?
It's going to come out in very subtle ways, and it's going to give people the opportunity where they may ask themselves, or kind of in hindsight, they may see something more clearly. Masculine and feminine in and of itself is not good, bad, or in between. It's the way that the person as the human chooses to interpret it or work with it. So when a person, because you can have masculine energies, female or male, that are very powerful and responsive, and create a part of you as the person that you are that makes you have certain characteristics. And then you can have those feminine characteristics that also come in to be a balance of that. They can be equally strong and powerful, but just a different way of looking at things. So it's about giving everybody a more well-rounded personality, a more well-rounded life, a more well-rounded experience.
Well, I guess what I'm thinking is in terms of the way we're doing things on the global scale, communicating with other countries, communicating with our governments, communicating with our food supply, what we want and the way we've been doing it up until now has been rather counterproductive. We've been, like you said about the storm, when you take force against force, you're just gonna get more force. So many people are starting to say, hey, we want a really nourishing food supply, and we want it for everyone. And there's resistance because we've had the other people in control of our food supply for some time. So do you see where more feminine energy is coming in, that this is going to change the those systems that we've been living by, so that they will, it's going to be more of a, well, how can we make this work? How can we do this? Do you see that happening in 2013, or is that too soon?
Yes, I do see that there is going to be a continued awareness. Again, that phrase that just went through our mind, the truth will come out. So some of this food supply that is being manipulated, some of it that is, the poor conditions for the animals, there's so many different things that have worked in the short run but are not working in the long run. That's what's going to go through a transition. Okay. So we see that things about food are going to change next year. We see that things about energy are going to change next year. We see that communication is going to change. We see that the awareness of things happening in the world is going to just open up even more. One of the things that a lot of people ask about is the economy. When's the economy going to get stronger? Well, the economy is something that quite changes country to country to country. And it's like you've seen a wave go around the world where certain people may have had trouble with their economy, and now they're stronger this year, but now this country isn't. So it's been like a wave or things that are changing. And so on the whole, we see that as whether it's each country, it's each community, or it's each family, whenever people are making a new beginning, it's coming on a much more solid, strong foundation where people are held accountable, where people are held, things have to be out and things have to be in a place of discussion. And so when you look at your world in that way, then the economy has to get stronger. It has to improve. Things have to get better. And so using that as a foundation or a belief or a trust that everything has happened for whatever the reason was that it happened, and focusing upon what you do want to have, it does bring up, everything else is going to respond to that. Does this make sense to you, how we see that?
It does. I just was wondering if whereas in the past we've resisted or we've become aware of something, a truth has come to our awareness, some situation, we've met that with protest or with sometimes anger and violence and whatever, instead of what I feel like is possible, and I don't know if it's possible in 2013, but is the sense of, okay, it's like when you have a child and you find out something's been going on, been wrong. When you look at the child and you say, okay, that does not make the child a bad child, but it makes the decision and the choice not productive, not healthy, or whatever. So you sit down and you say, okay, now we need to change how we're doing things. Do you see the potential for that ease in movement to change? Like, instead of what we did, historically, go into wars and go into, recessions and depressions and whatever, is there a potential now, because we're more awake, to move into that choosing something better and doing it with ease? Do you see that? I mean, that's my desire, my hope. So I wondered if it's on the horizon.
And that is exactly what we see. And it begins by every person making that choice for themselves. Absolutely, you get something that's worrisome or startling or a new thing. You go into that place of fear, perhaps, or you go into that place of anger and frustration. But the question is, do you stay in that place, build it up to be more, nurture it, give it a lot of energy, or do you say, wow, whew, got to vent that, got to get rid of that. Okay, now what am I really going to do with this? You see, so it's very natural to have those emotions. We're not telling people not to feel, so feel it, but just be very conscious of where is my focus the majority of the time. What do I truly choosing to have in my life? How am I choosing to look at whatever the situation is that may be happening, be it on a personal level or a worldwide level?
Okay, so we do. The energy is supporting us to move into that, and it is a personal choice.
It's there, and the more that people will begin to let that be their everyday reality, then the more they're going to have an easier life. Instead of saying, I'm still waiting, I'm still waiting, I'm still waiting, you're going to wait as long as you wait. And so it's about making the choice and finding, and as soon as you make that choice and begin to look around and see what's there, you're going to see the things that have always been there, but you just didn't see them the moment before.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot of information. So, is there anything else you want to add to this, Shelly, or the group?
You know, there's been so much, and as we sit there in this space, one thing that I and the goddess always want to put to the forefront is about being optimistic, and about being happy, and about having a life based in love. And if you can just kind of keep those thoughts in your mind or let them be at the forefront, then it can create a very solid foundation so that change, no matter what change may be, no matter where it may come from, no matter how it may manifest for you, it will manifest with much greater ease. Okay. I'm happy about the world. I'm happy about life. I'm happy about the things that are coming up. And I think that next year is going to be, in some responses, a stepping into what you've always wanted. It's here now. And in other responses of, can I really have what I thought I could have? Yes. And so to me, I'm very optimistic and happy about things.
So, and for some people that are just starting to wake up to their own choices, owning their own, decisions, realizing, okay, I made that decision, and it's okay to change my mind now. I'm at a point where, I know better, I do better, I can change. This is kind of a time for that too, isn't it? Where we actually see, now we can see, and it's about how we are going to choose to go forward with this.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's the key. So how many people do you know that are driven by regret over a choice or a decision that they made? Why didn't I make a different decision? Why did I take that route? Why did I do that? It's over, it's done, it's past. So every decision that you make, recognize that you are making that decision with the best of your ability in that moment. And it may be a day later, it may be a year later, it may be 10 years later. That's no longer the right route for you to go. So be flexible. Be aware that it's not written in stone, that you may make a decision, you may try something out and realize, not for me, let me make a new decision and go forward with that. Don't allow yourself to be swayed by, some people say, well, they just can't make up their mind. They've had 50 different jobs. When are they going to settle down? Well, maybe that person needed to have 50 jobs to have 50 different experiences to help them decide what is my reality. So accept that whatever's happened to you is what's happening to you in the moment. Be aware of it, be open to it, and allow it to manifest.
Yeah, and that speaks to the whole point about being in the now. Okay, you have those experiences, so you can't be in the future and you can't be in the past. So be here, and we do spend a lot of time in our past, and we do spend a lot of time in our future. We're wanting something and regretting something else, which is very unproductive, right?
Exactly. It's good. Like, say, for example, you're trying to make your long-term plan, my 5-year plan of this is what I want to do. So absolutely, look to the future. This is your intention. This is what you want to manifest. But don't let that be where your whole focus is. Let your focus instead be on, living in the moment, experiencing the moment, appreciating this, and then knowing that ultimately that's where you're going to go.
Okay. Okay, so is there, I mean, that was fantastic. I mean, to me, 2013 it looks like life. It doesn't look, it doesn't seem, it feels like what you said about balance. It's not going to be too much of extremes because we have a bigger awareness. Like there will be earth changes, there will be changes in our day-to-day lives, but if we raise our vibration enough, we'll be able to transition with it.
Exactly. No matter what your vibration, no matter where you are, allow your intention to be about that state of balance so that you can like say, for example, the storm we get when the dolphins gave that experience, so that when you're nudging up against something, you're not creating force against force. Instead, you're creating a state of balance and perception that opens you up to that neutralizes the things that may be resistance.
Wow. It looks pretty. I mean, that's what I like. It looks positive and optimistic to me, but it's not. It doesn't feel like we're talking about fantasy. It feels like we're talking about something really, really possible.
Yes, and we agree. There are those in their life that may not see it that way, and so those people will be coming from their perspective, and they're going to see things reflected back to them. That's their perspective. So we honor everybody, no matter what their belief or what their perspective may be. But our intention is that it flows throughout all of humanity, no matter what a person's vibration, that they can be open to balance and they can be open to this new potential.
Right, and I really want to thank you for sharing this with us today. But I also want to say something, Shelly, in case people are didn't quite get that. You do teleseminars or workshops all the time, and all they have to do is go to your website to get your newsletters, and you do like. Goddess Light, what do you call it? Goddess Light.
The daily message?
Yeah, the daily message, and which you send out on Twitter, and it goes out through. So if people go to www.goddesslight.net, then they can sign up for.
And you can follow me there. There's all sorts of pages and pages and pages of archives that you can go and look through. You can join me the first and third Sundays of the month. I'm in Eastern time, so 9 p.m. Eastern time, and you can adjust that out. But it's all that, again, you can figure it out on my homepage. I do teach classes. I do seasonal celebrations, a channel that's specific about whatever changes are taking place with each of the seasons. And just so many different things. But you can find me on Facebook, Twitter. I'm not so, I have not become a good Twitter person as yet. But anyway, I do a lot more on Facebook, and I love to interact. I love to hear from people, and so reach out to me, and I'm here.
And as well as the group things, you also are available for private sessions where people can turn to you if they're, and I want
absolutely. And I do a lot of private work. I mean, that's probably one of the biggest things I do. And the rates are on my website, and we can work a short period of time or a longer period of time. And I actually have a number of people that I work with on a monthly basis. So if there's whatever it is that you're interested in, go look at my website and see what's available. We definitely can work through Skype. We can work through the telephone. I don't do as much in person, the majority of that way.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just that, I wanted people to know that, I'm glad you did this for us collectively, but that individually you also have wonderful sessions that people can work with you. And you can also read Shelly's bio on letsgetrealchattingwithcatherine.com on the guest page, and check out the previous shows that Shelly's shared with me, and YouTube and on Blog Talk Radio. So thank you so much, Shelly. This makes me feel good about moving into the shift. Like, I felt good about it. I really did. And I guess I wanted someone else to confirm that what I'm feeling is, yeah, we're going to have some bumps, but it looks pretty good overall.
But ultimately, optimistic. Yeah, exactly. I agree, and that's why we find each other, and so then other people that listen to this message are going to say, "Yep, that's right," and that's what I want to focus upon, and so it just grows and grows and grows and grows and grows from there.
That exponential.
But anyway, thank you so much for having me. It's been my pleasure, and I really appreciate bringing in the Dolphins, the goddess, and all the group.
Yeah, I appreciate that too. That was very sweet of them all to show up. Thanks, Shelly.
Thank you.
Wow, wasn't that amazing? Thank you to my guests for sharing with us today. Thank you for watching. Feel free to share the link. You can join us for live shows by going to letsgetrealchattingwithkatherine.com and listen to the replays from the show page, preview guests, and explore links to our Facebook fan page, WordPress blog, and more. We are creating an exquisite world. Until next time, take care.